Are you going to make a quick introduction, Abai? Is he? Are you going to make a quick introduction? I don't know half the devotees.
Hare Krishna, Roman Andri. Can I speak in Tamil first, right?
As you wish.
Roman Andri. So I welcome everybody. I'm happy to see you all here. Today we are very fortunate to have His Holiness Nyananda Goswami. He is a disciple of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami. So Maharaj is in ISKCON for many from the beginning. So Maharaj is, we used to come to Malaysia very often. I have seen Maharaj from those days, from when Maharaj is brahmachari. So Maharaj is very active in Sankirtan, book distribution, and also, if you see Maharaj doing Kirtan, so wonderful. But I still remember the way Maharaj do Kirtan, from very high pitch to very low. Come back. So very interesting. So Maharaj has many disciples in Malaysia, in throughout the world. Maharaj used to preach, I think many in Europe countries now, Maharaj. Many in the Europe countries. Very long Maharaj didn't come to Malaysia. So
no, every year I come. Once a year I come.
Once a year, Maharaj.
Every year. Last year, same time. Every year, once a year.
So Maharaj comes every year. So without wasting any further time, I'd like to invite Nanda Maharaj to the service to give a class. So Maharaj, you can speak anything. Any topic, Maharaj.
Whatever comes out.
I didn't have a chance to talk to Maharaj.
Huh?
I didn't have a chance to talk to Maharaj earlier to any topics.
Yeah, we're late, unfortunately. What to do? Well, that's going to be sideways, isn't it? Ooh. So we've just come from Philippines, and before the Philippines we were in Australia and New Zealand, and we're in Malaysia for maybe another 5 days, I think, and then Krishna willing we'll be heading off to Vrindavan in India. Many of you have been to Vrindavan. Who's been to Vrindavan? How many of you have been to Vrindavan? At least, you could say, on the surface. By coming in contact with holy places, with holy persons, we become purified. They help to remind us of Krishna. Because Krishna's presence is very strong there, or his devotees' presence. Just like when you go to a temple, or a church, or a mosque, depending on your faith, you should feel closer to God. It's sure that God is everywhere, but we can't experience his presence everywhere. So he appears in various ways, various times, various places, through various people, to try to help us, or at least to give us the chance to remember our relationship with him. We're all searching for relationships. The relationships in this world are always, you could say, short of the mark. They don't fully satisfy our need. Inside all of us there is a natural desire for a perfect relationship, eternal, fully satisfying, everlasting, unlimited variety. And that is what you could say only will satisfy us. and the great teachers of the world in different walks of life, different designations they may be given, but they all have this same purpose: to guide us on our journey. What is said in English, it's not exactly correct in one sense, but the kingdom of God. The kingdom of God is everywhere, if you want to put it like that. But in terms of our realizing it, in terms of our relationship, in terms of our consciousness, entering into another plane of consciousness, the spiritual plane, the internal, the eternal and internal. So as we've just mentioned, Sri Vrindavan, one of those many holy places in the world. Every religion has their special places, which to them are very significant, and they are significant. They do at least help to some degree to bring that relationship closer. That's the idea. As when we meet saintly persons, they should remind us of our spiritual natures. So we'll sing a song which is meant to remind us of that. Now with me tonight is one devotee. His name is Jivananda Prabhu. He's sitting here. You may have seen or not seen before. You may have heard of a Sankirtan party called Harinam Ruchi that travels the world and tries to spread the holy name everywhere and enliven everyone everywhere to chant and dance. The age that we are living in is not a very, let's say, favorable time in terms of facilitating spiritual life. It's favorable in the sense that because it's so materialistic that one may become disenchanted with it and thus look for something much more meaningful or deeper in life. And thus there's an incentive, you could say, in many cases for spiritual life, because the material world is, what we say, always a place of suffering. But in this day and age that we are living in, there are so many causes of distress, fears, you name it, anxiety. So there's special compensation for this age, particularly called Kali Yuga, of course, as you know, some of you. And in this age, the Kalaya Dosha, in Sanskrit, they say, Kalaya Dosha nidhe rajan asti heko mahangunat. Kirtanareve Krishnasya mukta sangha param vijayat. In this particular age that we're in, which is full of, you could say, anomalies, faults, problems, difficulties, and all kinds of symptoms of hypocrisy and quarrel and laziness and envy and lust, and you go on, the list never ends. But there's Eka Mahanguna, there's one great quality in this age. And that quality is Kirtana Eva Krishnasya. So by chanting the name of Krishna, any name of God, is, we all have heard this, not all, but most have heard this verse, famous verse. Harinam, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam. Let's repeat together. I'll say a few words. Please repeat after me. Harinama, 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 Harinama Eva Kevalam, Harinama Eva Kevalam, Kalonastyeva, Nastyeva, Nastyeva, Gatiranyata. Who knows what this famous verse from the ancient scriptures of India, what does this verse say? Who knows what it says? You may say it in Tamil if it's easier for you. Who knows what it means? Sometimes we chant mantras or prayers, and we don't always know what we're saying. And sometimes it's not in the language we're familiar with. Obviously, Sanskrit is not a language which most of us are familiar with. Neither is Bengali. Maybe not Hindi either. Maybe not English. Most of you, not all of you, most of you are familiar with Tamil. Some of us, Jivananda, he's from Slovakia. You've heard of Slovakia? Hands up if you know where Slovakia is. Slovakia. Anybody know? Europe. You're pretty good. Pretty good. Not everybody knows that, but you did well. It's in Europe. It's a country, a beautiful country in Europe. Very small population. And also with us tonight, Yorick? Is that your name? Yannick? Huh? Yannick. I can't hear. Yannick. Yannick Prabhu has joined us today to come here. We met him a few hours ago in the temple in Seberang, and he's joined us tonight. He's on a spiritual path. He's been living in a long time in Eastern Asia, but 4 years, but before that he was in Germany. Most of his life he lived in Germany. So you don't speak Tamil, do you? You speak Malay? Chinese? Some Europeans speak Chinese. It's a popular language because so many people speak it. Useful language. But so German, English, and yeah. Looking for the truth. Looking for our identity, our true identity. We all have our identities in this world. Malaysian, Tamil, Chinese, German, French, English, Slovakian, Sri Lankan, whatever, Malay, Thai, Australian. But anyone who looks at it a little bit with intelligence knows that this is a temporary identification. A temporary, you may be living in a certain place for a certain time. And you may say, I say, where are you coming from? And you say you're coming from Kulim. Maybe next week you're going to move to Butterworth. I ask you, where are you coming from? Butterworth. And everyone can understand that, it's not Butterworth or Kulim, it's me. I'm just coming from there now. And the same thing with the body. The body may have been born in a certain country or place, in a certain religion, or born in an atheistic, whatever, due to our karmas. But anyone can understand that that's not necessarily, or not anyone, but you could with a little thought understand, that's not necessarily your spiritual identity. So that spiritual identity can be realized in this age. Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam. The process, Eva Kevalam, means the only way. The only way to realize this is through Harinam, chanting the holy name of God, in this age. In other ages, in the history of the universe, different processes may be more effective, but more recommended. But in this age, we don't live very long in this body, maximum 100 years, if that. And our minds are usually quite disturbed. Mandasa manda matayo manda pagu padrutaha states that in this age of Kali, people have short lives. They're easily agitated, quarrelsome. Always we're trying to defend our own illusion, our own identity, our own attachments. Short-lived, quarrelsome, lazy, especially for spiritual life, and not willing to undergo very much severe austerity. We want things quickly. As the age goes on, we see this instantly. We want something quick. We don't have much patience. Lazy, misguided, easily misguided, right from the moment we're born. You know, material education, material society, false, or let's say limited information is given on. Probably most of you are quite familiar being born in Hindu families, but born in the West, you know, it's mostly the idea of an eternal soul is not really, if accepted, is not understood. It's not really understood. Eternal soul means you've existed eternally, not that you came into being. It means you've always existed. Before this life, after this life, always existing. Not much understanding of that. Most people think that we've been, you know, we're this body. That's the general philosophy in the West. You are your body. Best of luck. I'm glad I'm not. That's all I can say. And besides being misled, people in this age are always disturbed. There's always cause of fear or stress, anxiety of some kind or another on the material platform. So to become free of that, the scriptures, the saintly people of the past recommend in this age, and you'll find the same in direction in the Bible, you'll find it also mentioned in the Quran, in different scriptures of the world, the importance of chanting the sound vibration, spiritual sound vibration. Now we may not be on that spiritual platform of realization, but by vibrating that sound, the holy name of the Supreme Being, that our consciousness becomes purified. One becomes freed of, let's say, our addictions in this world, of our illusions, of our attachments, and so on. And consequently, the anxiety, stress, fear, whatever else goes along with it. And most important of all, one develops one's relationship with the named. The name Krishna said, Binat Van Namanamino, is the same as the named. In this world we live in, it's called the world of names. Now if I say, let's for instance, what do you like to eat? What's your favorite food? What's your favorite food, young man? Yes, I don't know your name. What's your favorite food? Speak. Isha. What do you like to eat? Are you a vegetarian? Okay. What do you like to eat? I don't want you to say chicken or something. What do you like to eat? Rice, dal, sabji. Okay, I don't know if everyone knows what sabji is. That's a Bengali word. Rice, dal, vegetables. Okay, you're South Indian, aren't you? From South India? Where are you from? Huh? Huh? Yes, South India. Tamil is in South India. You don't know your geography yet? Tamil, South India. So what do people like to eat in South India? What's their most common food? Huh? Rice is the most common. Rice. If ever you travel in Tamil Nadu, everywhere you go is rice, rice, and more rice. Don't say it's a speciality. Speciality. I've traveled in the villages of Tamil Nadu on a few occasions. Every day it's rice. Morning, noon, and evening. Rice. Different types of rice. I remember we were thinking, you know, rice and some, maybe you get some rasam or some sambar or something. I think, God, every day. Like, you know. And then they said, oh, today is a special day. We're having a feast in some village we were in. We were doing padayatra here, working on padayatra. Feast. 9 different types of rice. 9. That was the feast. 9. Lemon rice, tomato rice, tamarind rice, curd rice, this thing, that thing. Sweet rice, pongal. Everything rice, rice, rice. Rice is nice. So, rice. Okay, I'm saying the word rice. Where's the rice? It's different to the name, isn't it? The name is related to it, but it's not the same. Everything in this world is relative. It's not absolute. In the spiritual, the meaning of absolute is the name is the same as the named. Desire is automatic. It's not like you have to make a separate endeavor to fulfill. The spiritual life is dynamic, it's ecstatic, it's full of life. So you desire something that we are calling out, praying to, calling out to, asking for. We're beggars in this world. Beggars. So it's just a matter of what we beg for. So most people are begging for material reasons. Isn't it? Begging for wealth, begging for health, begging for some mundane thing, begging to go to heaven. And if they believe in God, they're begging God, give me this, give me that. Mostly. Very few are understanding our relationship or our nature. Yes, we should beg, but we should beg for the real thing, the pure thing. Beg for a love for Krishna, love of God. We should beg for it. Prabhupada tells a story one time, you've heard it before perhaps. I don't know. It's Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj, his Gurudev tells. There was one old lady. She lived in the forest mostly, and she would collect wood, dry wood, and she would take it to the market every day. One of the reasons we were late getting here is we went down this, we were following the map, or Google or something like that, what's it called? Waze. Following this direction. And went down this road. There was a night market in the road. The whole road was blocked. We had to turn back and go a different route. This was the night market. Anyway, this lady was going to the market with her wood, firewood, to sell in the market. And she would carry it, as you've seen in here, not so much, but in many Asian countries, they carry it on their head. India, you see, particularly, in Nepal, Sri Lanka, maybe, different countries. They carry the load on their heads. Huh? So she's carrying the wood on her head. Ladies are very expert at this. You see, they don't even hold it. Huh? You see, they have sometimes a big pot on their head with water, and they're not even holding it. They're just jogging along, and the pot's on top of their head. They've got some special mystical power of some kind. Anyway, she's carrying the wood on her head, but somehow or another, the wood falls off her head. And she's old and she's tired. Oh no, oh God, help me. You know this, even atheists, when they're in difficulty, quite often say that. They're atheists. There was one atheist, her name was Mrs. Smoker, of all things. Quite a strange name. Mrs. Smoker. Mrs. Smoker. And she was the #1 atheist in England in the 70s. And she challenged one of our Hare Krishna devotees. His name was Hare Krishna Das. He's a great debater. And was on live on TV or something. And he's such a good debater. She couldn't defeat him, you know. She got so frustrated. And she said, she just blurted out of her mouth, "Oh my God," she said. Complete atheist. She could, it's just there, you know, it came out of her mouth. And anyway, she cried out, "Oh God, help me." She's dropped the wood and she's not strong enough to pick it up, it's too weak. And because she happened to be in a very special place, as we mentioned earlier, that some places have special potency. And she happened to be under a special tree. They're called Kalpa Vriksha trees. And they have a special potency to reward what you ask. They're not very common. And it so happened she was under one. So immediately God appeared. A little boy appeared before. He appeared in a small boy's form. He said, "Yes." She said, "Oh, are you God?" He said, "Yes." "What can I do for you?" And she said, "Oh, please help me." "Yes." "Can you please pick the sticks up and put them back on my head?" Okay. Krishna picked the sticks up and put them back on her head. "Thank you, God." And she walked off to the market to get her 1 rupee for her sticks. I don't know if you catch that. So stupid. She could have asked for anything. But she just asked, "Help me to carry my load." And that's all we're doing when we pray to God, "Give me health, give me wealth, give me a house, give me this, give me that." What we're asking is, we don't need all these things. They're just like toys, children's toys. We need them, you could say, in the material world, but the soul doesn't need them. They're anarto pashamam shakshad, bhakti yoga rokshaje. They are superfluous to the soul. Superfluous means they have nothing really to do with the soul. They're not business of the soul. They're a different substance. But people don't know this. The miseries in life are also, they're false. The soul is witnessing. The soul is not actually suffering, but because we identify with this body, we identify with our country of birth, with our religion, and so on. And thus, there are various duplicity, and there's various sufferings of various kinds because of this false identity. Sometimes you feel good, sometimes you don't. The nature of the material world. If you watch a television program, you may also be deeply affected by it. Deeply. Maybe it's a horror movie. Maybe it's some sport which you're attached to. Maybe it's something on the news. Maybe it's some love scene. Maybe something, whatever. But it affects our consciousness, doesn't it? You sometimes get fearful, you sometimes become excited, you sometimes become angry, you sometimes become emotionally awoken, or even lusty sometimes. But it's not really us. It's something else which we're identifying with. But it affects our consciousness. It's the consciousness of the soul which is the key. The soul is conscious. Right now, our consciousness is focused on all of these material identities. Whether it's our body, our work, our country, our family, our philosophy, our habits, whatever it is, our consciousness is presently focused on these various objects or various subjects. And according to the situation, our consciousness is affected up and down like this. And we are just like watching it. The mind, which is, you could say, the platform which consciousness interacts with the physical body, is just like that. It's just like a screen which we're watching. The soul is the witness. But because we identify ourselves, ahankara, false ego, we identify ourselves with that, whatever it is, place, person, body, etc., we get disturbed. We get attached to somebody. If anything goes wrong, we start to get really, maybe cry or whatever, panic, whatever, because of the body identification. Spiritual life, no matter what path we call it, foundation understanding is we are not this body. Simpler said than done, you can say. This has to be realized and not just theory. Theory is okay, that begins with theory. And if you want to follow the path to realization, then it becomes more than just a hope, a theory, a crutch, whatever. It becomes a realization. Even Prabhupada, he mentioned this too. It's there in the history. There was one famous Greek philosopher from Greece. His name was Socrates. Have you heard this name? Socrates. You've heard of that philosopher? Aristotle, Plato, Socrates. Different famous Greek philosophers from thousands of years ago. This person, Socrates, he was quite spiritually inclined. And he was preaching this philosophy, basically speaking, that you're not the body. Now that wasn't very popular amongst many of the people of his time. And to such an extent that, because, anyway, various reasons, it makes it a little difficult to justify one's sinful activities if one realizes one's not the body and you have to live again and you have to experience the reactions of your activity. Karma. So he's not very popular. So they decreed that if you don't stop preaching like this, we're going to have to kill you. So they did, actually. They gave him, what do they call that? Hemlock, special kind of poison. And you die after a while. He wasn't the least bit worried. He said, you may do what you like, but first you have to find me. You're right there. No, I'm not. They couldn't understand. He understood that this body is not me. You may kill this body, but you can't kill me. But they can't understand this. People can't relate to it, however. The realization is required also. To be Abhay, our spiritual master. Even your name, Abhay Charan. We hear your name? Abhay Charan Prabhu. Huh? Abhay. What does that mean? Pardon? One who's fearless of the lotus feet of the Lord, or the lotus feet of the Lord's devotees. Whether we're fearless or not, we're servant of one who is fearless. We may not have realized that yet. We may not have come to that platform. But that's the realization. By applying this process, that realization can come. Krishna himself states in the Bhagavad Gita that one who applies himself to this knowledge realizes this knowledge in due course of time. It's realization. Pratyaksha lokamam dhamyam susukam kartamavyayam. This knowledge is to be realized with purified senses. With impure senses we may have a philosophy or a belief, but the realization is not complete. Full satisfaction of the soul means complete realization of one's eternal, constitutional nature, which is Jive Srupai Nichara Krishna Das. We are all eternal servants of Krishna. That's our real identity. Within that, there's unlimited range of what that means, of relationships. But that's the foundational principle of knowledge or realization. So you're not the body. What is this? Is that my chudder? Pardon? Something else. Oh, Nityananda has arrived. Lord Nityananda has arrived tonight. Well, I've got more. I've got enough in the bag probably for everyone already. That will be the end of those monas. Yes. Lord Nityananda, the most merciful form of Krishna, has arrived tonight for all of us. We want His mercy. By His mercy, everything can become Susukam Kartamavyam. That's the meaning of Nityananda, eternal bliss. Susukam, fully blissful. Susukam Kartamavyam, ever existing, unending. Huh? Unending bliss. Sounds good. Huh? But that's the nature of the soul. It's not something you can impose on the situation. That's a matter of the soul's experience. But by the grace of Nityananda, it's possible. So we'll now sing a song which reminds us of that spiritual nature. And perhaps you all know it, but certainly you don't all know it. Because I know that Yannick doesn't know it, and one or two of you may not know it. So we'll sing this Jaya Radha Madhava. Hands up if you, I mean you have to say it in tones. Who doesn't know this song? Anybody who does not know the song, Jaya Radha Madhava? Anybody not know? Don't be shy. Maybe one or two hands are up. Do we have a book here or a sheet? Yeah, but those who don't need a sheet. Either a book or a sheet. I have a songbook in my bag, but I don't know if that's practical or not. You can maybe show Bhaktivinoda Thakur's song. It's a beautiful song. Sometimes you may go for holidays. I don't know if you do those sort of things, but when we were kids, we used to go for holidays. We used to go to Spain. I lived in England, you know. My father worked in the railways, so we had free tickets on the train through Europe. So we used to go on the train to Spain. On the train to Spain, and to get away from the rain, because it always rains in England. So we went to Spain, sometimes to Italy. I even went to Germany one year, near Bundesweg. I don't know if you pronounce it Bundesweg. Some new places. You look at it, before you go, you get these brochures. You know, brochure? Holiday brochure. It makes everything look so paradise. Huh? You know, the Spanish Riviera, the Italian Riviera, Mallorca. All these brochures we would look at. The Swiss Alps. Oh, Mummy, I want to go there. And then they look at the price and this and that, what have you. And then if you're lucky, you might go there for your holiday. But you become attracted by looking at the brochure. It makes it look really nice. White sand, blue sea, sunshine, nice cliffs, nice hotels, nice little kind of old historic villages in Spain or whatever. And people looking happy with their sombreros and their castanets. Very attractive, and all the architecture of the, whatever they are, churches, basilicas and so on. Yes, let's go there, the boats, the clear water. You can see through the water. In the water you can see the colorful fishes swimming away. We want to go there, enjoy. So this song's a little bit like that, but with a spiritual goal, not just a temporary one. And even if you do go to the Spanish Riviera, around here you may go to, where'd you go for your holiday? Langkawi? Langkawi. No? Langkawi? Phuket? Go across the border. Phuket, Krabi, Phuket. Go further afield. Bali. Go to Bali. Bali. And if you're really rich, you might go to Australia. Australia, probably you go to India. More likely to go to India. But it's not quite the same thing. But you've got to come back after a while. You run out of money. You've got to come back and work again. Isn't it? Back to Kulim. Back to the factory in Kulim. Back to work again. Save up again, and I'll go again next year. That's the material world. But in the spiritual, there's no return. Having once attained that plane, you never return to this one. Even if you appear to be in it, one's not in it. As Jesus said, in the world, but not of it. So we got to become of the spiritual world. When we go to Vrindavan or any holy place, it's not just a holiday resort that you go to and just kind of, here I am, I've been there, snap, snap, selfie here, selfie there. But it's actually an opportunity to change our consciousness. Change our consciousness. To see everything in relationship with Krishna. So this is a beautiful song which helps us to see things in relationship with Krishna. That he is of all the goddesses of fortune, he is the beloved of the goddesses of fortune. He's the center of attraction. And he plays. In the spiritual world, it said every step is a dance. Every word is a song. You don't have a physical body. It's the spirit soul's expression of love. Naturally. And unlimited varieties of facilities for the soul's relationship with Krishna, ultimately for the pleasure of the Lord, that automatically includes every single living being. And this describes Krishna a little bit in his relationship with this world also, how he lifts up Govardhan Hill, this great hill, with a little finger of his left hand, to give happiness and pleasure to all of his devotees. We took shelter underneath. How he plays with his cowherd boyfriends and the calves and cows. In the forests of Vrindavan. And with his gopi, his consorts, those who are worshipping or serving, loving him in that form. How they also enjoy loving relationships. And in those in parental affection. How they relish, love it like a mother and a child. The loving relationship that on the spiritual platform is perfect. It's complete. Everything we find in our present experience in this world has its original pure origin on the spiritual plane. On this plane it is perverted, reflected through the gunas, the modes of nature. So you get all kinds of duality or imperfections, call it what you will, shortcomings. But it's based on the truth. It's just like a reflection. It's based, if you look in the mirror, you generally see a reflection of your face or whatever. It's not your face, but it's a reflection. So the material world is a bit like a reflection of the spiritual world. This song is like a picture of the spiritual world. Like the brochure, you see it, and it attracts you to want to go there. So this is the idea. Prabhupada described it a little bit, our spiritual master, a bit like a window. a window to the spiritual world. So let us sing this song. Let's try to enter into the meaning of the song. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjo Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjo Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjo Bihari Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari Girivardhari Yasodanandana Vajanarandana Meditate on the love of Mother Yasoda for Krishna. The most personification of service or love for God in parental affection. Yasodanandana Rajajana Ranjana and the beautiful river Yamuna, which also flows in this world, in the spiritual world, is ever manifest. Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjo Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunjo Bihari Gopi Janaballabha Girivardhari Janara Yasodhana Raja Janara Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, no Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna.